Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I was 17 when my life was handed over to the oven. 2 days before Thanksgiving, I heard a crash on the back steps and found Mom clutching her leg, her face pale with pain. At the hospital, the doctor confirmed, broken bone, cast for weeks. As we settled her into the recliner, she waved off everyone's concern with a groggy smile. "Nicole will handle it," she said, voice heavy from painkillers. "She's been helping me for years." Helping, yes. I'd peeled potatoes, stirred gravy, even set a few tables. But 19 guests, a whole turkey, pies, sides, rolls, drinks, timing every oven rack. My stomach clenched as though I had swallowed one of the cast iron pans. "Mom, I can't," I began, but Dad interrupted, nodding firmly. "You'll do fine, Nick. You're smart, organized. We'll all pitch in." But all didn't mean much. By the night before Thanksgiving, I was alone in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, hands raw from peeling, eyes burning from tears I wouldn't admit to. At 2 a.m. I pulled the last pie from the oven, my chest aching with exhaustion. At 3, I lay awake, terrified everything would taste like failure. The day itself was a blur of heat and chaos. Steam clouded the windows, timers screamed, dishes stacked higher than I could reach. My relatives arrived in waves, laughing, hugging, settling into chairs, while I darted between pots and pans like a frantic ghost. The rolls burned. I cried quietly, forehead pressed against the cabinet, before scraping the blackened edges and forcing myself back to the stove. By dinner, I had barely tasted a bite, but plates were filled, glasses clinked. And then it came, applause. "Nicole, you saved Thanksgiving. Such a talented girl," Aunt Vivian declared with a smile too sharp to be kind. "Almost as good as your mother's." Mom beamed from her recliner as though she had trained me for this exact role. Dad's approving nod sealed the verdict. "Next year," he said, "Nicole will handle everything." I smiled weakly, though my legs trembled. A secret part of me longed for the praise. It was warm, intoxicating, but beneath it ran a chill that stole my breath. This wasn't a rescue. It was a beginning. That night, after the last plate was washed, I collapsed on my bed and stared at the ceiling, whispering to myself through tears. It was just 1 year, just this once. But deep down, I already knew. I had stepped into a trap disguised as love. The following year, no one even asked if I wanted to cook. It was decided for me, quietly, effortlessly, as though last Thanksgiving had signed an invisible contract in my name. 2 weeks before the holiday, Mom clapped her hands together from her recliner. "Nicole," she said brightly, "you know the menu. Same as last year. You did such a marvelous job." I froze, dish towel still in my hand. "Wait, all of it, again?" Dad leaned over his newspaper, not even looking up. "Of course. You're gifted, sweetheart. We'd be foolish to change what works." Gifted, sweetheart. Words that should have warmed me instead pressed down like iron shackles. The kitchen became my cage. For days I measured, chopped, mixed, baked, while laughter echoed from the living room. I wanted to sit with them to belong, but every time I peeked out, someone would say, "Don't lose focus, Nicole. We're counting on you." The pressure grew unbearable. On Thanksgiving morning, as I basted the turkey, Aunt Vivian swept in with her usual perfume cloud of superiority. My, she crooned, "You've really taken your mother's place, haven't you?" Her words stung. I wasn't replacing anyone. I was trapped, performing love with ladles and knives. By the time dinner was served, my back ached, my hands trembled. Plates clattered, laughter rose. Compliments showered down like confetti, smothering me. Brilliant. Perfect. Our Nicole, a natural chef. I forced a smile, but tears burned at the corners of my eyes. They saw perfection. I felt invisible. No one noticed I hadn't eaten more than a few bites. No one asked if I wanted this role. That night, alone in my room, I pressed my face into the pillow and whispered the truth. This isn't praise, it's a prison. And yet, I couldn't find the key. By the 10th year, Thanksgiving had swollen into an army of faces. 34 mouths to feed, 34 expectations to meet. My phone buzzed constantly with new requests. Gluten-free stuffing, sugar-free pies, a vegan entree just in case. Every message carried the same assumption. Nicole will handle it. Nicole always does. 5 nights before Thanksgiving, I stood in the supermarket aisle staring at a cart piled so high I could barely push it. My chest tightened, I couldn't breathe. A woman passing by asked softly, "Big dinner?" I nodded, but inside, something cracked. That evening, I called Mom. "Mom," I whispered, my voice shaking, "I can't do this anymore. It's too much." She sighed, as if I were a child complaining about chores. "Don't be dramatic, Nicole. You know how proud we are. Everyone looks forward to your cooking." Dad's voice thundered faintly in the background. "Tell her not to ruin tradition." Their words pierced me deeper than any knife. My hands trembled as I hung up. I sat on the kitchen floor, surrounded by bags of groceries, sobbing so hard my ribs ache. For 10 years I had given them my holidays, my joy, my rest, yet the only thing that mattered to them was what ended up on their plates. The next morning in therapy, I broke down completely. "My family doesn't see me," I told Dr. Henson through tears. "They only see what I do for them." She leaned forward gently. "Nicole, you're not failing them. You're failing yourself if you continue. You have a right to draw the line." Her words lit a spark. A terrifying, liberating thought began to grow inside me. What if I didn't cook at all? For the first time in a decade, the possibility of freedom didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like survival. 3 days before Thanksgiving, the decision crystallized. My hands no longer shook from fear, but from resolve. I closed my laptop after booking a flight to San Francisco, the confirmation email glowing like a secret lifeline. That evening, Dad called to review the schedule. "You'll need to pick up the turkey tomorrow. 30 pounds at least." "Dad," I interrupted, my voice steady, "I'm not cooking this year." Silence. Then his disbelieving laugh. "Not funny, Nicole." "I'm serious. I booked a flight. I'll be gone Thursday." On the other end, his breath hissed through the line. "You're abandoning your family? After everything we've given you?" The injustice stung, but I held firm. "What you've given me is exhaustion. I can't sacrifice myself anymore." He slammed the phone down. When word spread, the storm arrived. Texts, voicemails, accusations. Aunt Vivian's shrill message, "Selfish girl. Do you want us to starve?" Cousin Matthew's sneer. "All those years of praise went to your head, didn't it?" I read each one with tears blurring my vision, yet underneath the ache was an unfamiliar strength. For the first time, I wasn't bending. Thanksgiving morning, instead of basting a turkey, I sipped coffee at the airport gate. A stranger beside me smiled, heading home. I swallowed hard. "No," I whispered, almost crying, "heading to freedom." In San Francisco, friends welcomed me with open arms. No orders, no expectations, just laughter, wine, and a table where I was finally allowed to sit, not serve. That night, as we clinked glasses, joy filled the hollow spaces exhaustion once claimed. My family might be fuming, but I had reclaimed something far greater, myself. When I returned from San Francisco, the fallout was waiting. Some relatives had cut me off entirely, icy silence where chatter used to be. Others unleashed furious messages accusing me of ruining tradition. For a moment, guilt gnawed at me. Had I destroyed more than I saved? But then, one evening, Mom called, her voice softer than I'd ever heard. "Nicole, we realized something. We left you alone with the burden all these years. I'm sorry." Tears welled as I whispered, "I just wanted to belong, not to serve." A week later, my cousins suggested a potluck for Christmas. "Everyone brings something," Aunt Vivian admitted grudgingly, "even me." At first, I didn't believe it, but when Christmas came, dishes arrived from every direction. Laughter replaced orders, and for the first time in a decade, I filled my own plate before anyone else's. I sat at the table, not apart from it, and felt a peace so sharp it nearly hurt. The tradition wasn't dead, it had been reborn. And so had I.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.